Greetings, everyone. This is Chaplain Dan Bonner here at the Wesleyan at Estrella. We are so grateful that we each have places we've come from, places we've treasured, and maybe not quite happy with, wanted to get on. Each of us have a slightly different story. Each resident, each staff person, each family, a slightly different story as I listen around the campus to how you came to be here. And some of the stories are wonderful, joyful times, having lived in the same town all your lives, but then moved here because of children being close. Other stories are more complex. I'd like to share with you this day a story of one of those complex kinds. Specifically not about you or me, but a fellow named Jesus. In Mark's Gospel, we'll hear this Sunday probably preached from the 6th chapter of Mark, a story of when Jesus had made his first round of public teachings and preachings across the larger synagogue cities of Judea. And he went back, having spent some time, of course, in Jerusalem. He went back to a place where he thought, I suspect, he hoped he could be well received and appreciated and maybe get a little rest. That region was the region called the Galilee, along the Jordan River, villages, not cities, villages that were primarily made up of just good old working people, some growing their own food, others doing artisan works. Joseph, Jesus' earthly father, of course, we know, was a carpenter. And so in the Galilean town of Nazareth, Jesus returned. Now, he went to the synagogue, it says in the 6th chapter of Mark. He went to the synagogue to teach and preach and heal. But then he was cut off short, amazed, and, well, caught really off base. Because instead of loud hosannas and cries, the young man from our village, made good now, has come home to preach with us, and we're so proud of him. I think that's perhaps what the human side of Jesus may have wanted. I know when I, as a young pastor, would occasionally go back to my hometown, I was always expecting affirmation and encouragement. Jesus, though, in this Galilean area, was known not as a great preacher or healer or teacher. He was known as the son of a very well-respected carpenter, Joseph. And so when he was in the synagogue of Nazareth, his hometown, doing all these amazing things, preaching with extraordinary power and authority, there was rumbling in the crowd. who does he think he is? We can't believe things like that come from him. He's just Joseph's son. He grew up down the street here in the carpenter shop. And so the murmuring, the suspicions, maybe what we might call today the whispers that, well, he's just turned into a flim-flam man. They may have reached Jesus' ears, and I suspect were painful to hear. I know they would be for me. But Jesus stood up straight and said to his disciples, not to the people in the crowd, all right, now we're going to do something that you hadn't planned to do. Go 2 by 2, and he divided them 2 by 2. And I give you authority to go out to these villages and teach and preach and heal by the power of the Lord our God. First time he'd given them authority to do those things. And so they went. And in effect, they multiplied the witness that Jesus alone could have had. For even Jesus could only be in one place at one time. And of course, Jesus left sent those disciples out with one final famous word. If they do not receive you, walk from that town, and when you reach its gates, dust the sand from your sandal, shake it, get it off of you, leave them behind, and go on to somebody who will receive you gladly. My friends, whether we come from happy times or some not so happy times and where we used to be, I encourage you by the witness of Jesus this day. We look ahead because God is doing a great thing today and will, as long as we say, what next? What next? So looking to the future, may every one of us in the Australia community be of great hope. God bless you. We'll see you again in the next days. Happy.